WEFUNK. We funk.
And I guess we can say, too, that we've watched, for as Best Picture goes, we've watched pretty much all of them. Yeah, but I think we can both say we didn't watch The Father. And then the other one I didn't see, and it's a total fuck up on my part, is Judas. And I'm probably going to watch it before the Oscars come out, but Judas and the Black Messiah. Just because I have HBO Max, and I didn't realize it was only there for like a limited time. It's only there for like 30 days, and now it's gone. Like, that's kind of how they do it with the theater and HBO Max release on the same day.
I didn't Sorry, go ahead.
Which totally just like screwed me over, because then when I finally sat down to watch it, I'm like, it's gone, and I gotta pay $20 to rent it. I just have like a personal begrudging. Like,
I was like in an interesting, exact opposite story, as the Geeked Up fans might know from chronicling it over the years, but over the months rather. But I have not signed up for HBO Max because I got too many other goddamn streaming services already. So I've already used up my free trial watching Claxashkin Park, obviously. Which, spoiler alert, best documentary nomination. But and when I tried to watch it, even just a couple weeks ago, it was exclusively on HBO Max at that point. So if I could have paid for it, I would have. But I couldn't.
Gotcha.
And now, by this week, when it's finally on, where you can pay for it, I already had paid for Minari, and I'm watching these other ones. So it's like, now I'm not going to pay. And you're right, we are recording this. We should say like a full week before the Oscars, the weekend before the Oscars. So I will try my best to watch that, and I probably will fork down the extra $20 to watch that, before the Oscars. However, neither one of us got that one in before our Oscar special here.
Correct, yeah. And both on just stupid, dumb fuck-ups on our part.
Yeah.
I think
I'm still saying fuck up on HBO Max, but I'm not taking the blame for this. I'm not buying another goddamn streaming service. But no, confusion. You're right, though. If I knew that it was going to be out on a streaming thing where I would have been able to, because I didn't even know that was how it worked. I just thought it was going to be exclusively on HBO Max forever. So I was like, all right, fuck it, dude. If that's how you're doing it, I'm not fucking watching. You know what I mean? Like, I'll stick with my Hulu, Prime, Netflix, and Apple movies. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
Plus, you can watch some old WrestleManias on your WWE network thing.
Yeah. Plus, I signed into the lifetime contract of that. So,
very true. So then, I guess topping the list then of movies we did watch, because we are the Netflix and chat boys, is I guess kick it off with Mank, because I think Mank holds the record for most nominations, or that's how it was at the Globes. I don't know if that's true for the Oscars also.
Yeah, I don't know about record for most nominations. It definitely leads this year's field anyway.
This year's nominations.
Yeah, I think it's got
it
9
all.
or
Best
10.
Picture,
but
Best Supporting, yeah.
Best Actor, Best Picture, Director, and I am a big David Fincher guy, like we said. So I guess he is somebody that I would root for the home time. If it's a P.T. Anderson in there, I'd root for him. A David Fincher in there, I'll root for him. So I'll be pulling for him, I guess, to have some success. However, what did you feel of Mank? For me, not my fave. Especially, I'd say for me, I guess my ultimate review, I think that having it, knowing that it got 10 Oscar nominations before watching it definitely affected how much I liked it or not. Because I just felt it was very overrated. I watched it, and at the end, I was like, that was the fucking movie that got 10 Oscar noms? Like, what? That wasn't that great. I was expecting a masterpiece, and it was far from a fucking masterpiece, I'd say. But
no, very true, too, man. And I will say this, though, because, again, I think it kind of was a masterpiece. The way it was filmed like a movie, in the vein of Citizen Kane, because it's about Citizen Kane. To me, it seemed like, of all the movies I watched, to me, it seemed like I totally get why this one is, riddled with Oscar nominations, the way it's filmed. It just has the feel and of, I want to say, the pompousness of an Oscar-nominated film. Having said that, dude,
Gary Oldman looks nothing like himself and all. It's fucking...
Yeah. Having said that, dude, I definitely fell asleep halfway through watching it 2 in the afternoon on a Monday. I was watching it late.
You told me that, and I was like, me too, dude. Did you watch it at midnight also? You're like, no, 2 p.m. I was like, no, I guess you can't blame
2 p.m., mug full of coffee, lights out, dude.
Gary Oldman was great, I'd say. I would say it would be interesting if this movie won for 2 reasons, I guess. It would be interesting if it won one, but it's one of the most famous Oscar trivias of all time, but everybody, of course, knows that Citizen Kane did not win the Oscars. Some movie that fucking nobody ever heard of beat it, but that's regarded as one of the great Oscar snubs ever. Citizen Kane losing Best Picture. What's up?
There's a whole conspiracy theory behind that, though. I was kind of like the main villain in Mank. Like, literally did like block all him. Like, Mank was the only one that won an Oscar for writing it. But there's a big conspiracy that the guy who is like the newspaper head, who's like is in the movie, did like block theaters from showing the movie, like, and like had a hand in the Oscars, like a big snub for everybody.
I mean, that's the whole point of the movie, is that the whole Hollywood scene was all sorts of backdoor inner workings and all sorts of stuff. I thought that one angle that they really should have played up in the movie was the Orson Welles taking credit for it from Mank. I felt that kind of got sprung onto the plot line towards the end of the movie, because it was more about his drinking and like relationships and whatnot, and like his, you know, being an outsider from the world of Hollywood kind of. But so I felt that would have been like a cool storyline to actually keep you engaged and whatnot. But the other thing that I feel would be interesting is that if this movie, like, just there is like always kind of talk about how social relevancy plays a part in the Oscars, and you know, this year with all these really powerful movies about civil rights and, you know, promising young women and sexual harassment and the Me Too movement, and just all of like the movies with like poignancy and relevancy, social relevancy this year, I really would think it would be hilarious to see like a movie about the old drunken white guy like in the Hollywood inner circle takes all the like best picture Mank as fucking, like, the entire cast of Ma Rainey and fucking One Night in Miami and fucking, you know,
Chadwick Boseman's widow sitting there while Gary Oldman's thanking his agent.
yeah, for sure. Like, you know what, folks, this really speaks to what Hollywood's all about. Like, so I got a feeling it's not going to win just because of that, but also doesn't deserve. But I would say Fincher, like you said, great cinematography, maybe a cinematography award.
And it was kind of weird to see. I think the reason Fincher even directed is because his old man wrote the script before he died.
Yes, great
which is
call.
Interesting.
Yes,
because
very
it's
true.
Not a Fincher movie. I kept waiting for like a serial killer to show up, or maybe his nurse was in his head the whole time, and they start like an underground fight club.
No, that's true. The only thing Fincher about it is just how, like, you know, interesting it is to look at, you know, from that standpoint, like you said.
Exactly.
But the filmmaking is really intricate and awesome. So, but you're right. His dad, his late father wrote. I think it was like the last thing that his late father wrote, and that's why he made it.
I think it's the last
really
and only
sentimental.
Thing. I'm pretty sure it's the only thing his dad wrote.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But so he was already a sentimental favorite for me and you before. I'd say that even adds to it. So I'll be rooting. So I'm going to be rooting for Mank this year. I'm rooting for Mank big, and all lives matter as well. Let me just say, but no, but I'll be pulling for Fincher anyway, but not my favorite movie anyway.
I guess the next on the list would be another Netflix favorite. Would be the Trial of Chicago 7.
All right. Sacha Baron Cohen coming out back-to-back with Borat and getting buried alive by the Borat release, stealing all the headlines. Because remember, they came out back-to-back weeks, and it was just like, are you going to watch him win an Oscar or the Borat? Obviously Borat. Yeah. Like, fucking.
You going to watch him set up Giuliani, or are you going to watch him get nominated for Best Supporting Actor?
And he was nominated, like you were just saying, right? But he was great in this one as well. The guy that played William Kunstler, the lawyer, I think he did not get nominated, but he was great as well.
Mark Rylance, he's a great actor.
But really solid, though. It was probably better than I thought it was going to be going into it. You know what I mean? An Aaron Sorkin legal drama. I was like, all right, not necessarily. Don't think I'm going to love this, but it was fucking really good, you know? It
was really good. And I'll tell you what, it was done in like a... I don't want to say fun enough way, but of all the movies that were all kind of downers, like this one kind of like had a sensitive subject, but in an upbeat, like I found myself laughing a lot in it. Like,
no, for sure. They definitely dealt with it with, you know, some comedic, there was definitely some comedic moments, and they definitely made a good, movie out of it as you're watching. Like you might know what happens in the trial, you might know the history of the Chicago riots and all that, but they still made it an interesting between Sacha Baron Cohen's character and like the other, you know, defendant that he was kind of infighting with, and that whole battle. Like there was just like enough of a movie storyline going on to keep you interested as to what was going to happen. And then by the time there was like the Abby Hoffman on the stand scene, it was like, fuck yeah, dude, this is like a major showdown. This is like Thanos fucking squaring off.
And plus, there definitely was a Thanos, because like they did such a good job of making you hate that judge so much.
Yeah.
That I also feel like they were also, this is like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, we're like, hey, dude, we get that we killed your career with Project Power here at Netflix. Do you want to play the prosecutor? Like, we'll throw you a bone, dude. Like, where's our
I hope that was one of those, 5-picture deals with Netflix that he was forced to do. Because God, and spoiler alert, Project Power might come up in my pick for if we do when we do our worst movie category. Pro Power might get thrown in there. I guess that maybe is a year-end award for us, not an Oscar award, but. All in all, that was good. It definitely, like you said, kept an upbeat. The only thing that's a bummer about it is like the truth of American history, Yeah. So I can't blame the movie.
Exactly.
I kind of have to take it blame us on that one. But that was a theme with a lot of the movies this year. We're just like kind of about the wrongs of American past, and just really like how a couple in particular. I talked actually. It was another one of our snubs actually, I should say. But in the documentary category, that Martin Luther King doc that I talked about on Geeked Up, which is details how the American government was out to thwart Martin Luther King, and as well. But it got nommed. But U.S. vs. Billie Holiday is as well. Like all three of those movies are just 100% about how the American government was conspiring to thwart the civil rights movement by like targeting its fucking people that were moving it on in the entertainment world. Of course, U.S. vs. Billie Holiday, which maybe we could cover next. But and then of course Martin Luther King was a documentary that I thought was really really eye-opening anyway. So I was surprised that it didn't get an Oscar nom. But maybe we'll get into that later with our picks as well. But
absolutely.
So Chicago 7 was good, but depressing from that standpoint, as well as U.S. vs. Billie Holiday. But did you see U.S. vs. Billie Holiday?
No, I was trying to bring out all the best pictures first, whilst also juggling Falcon Winter Soldier and
for sure. All of our other normal fucking geeked watching. But and then again, we still have like 2 weeks to watch all of these folks, so we probably like in our own personal life will catch a lot of the ones that we have not yet seen. But I would definitely recommend U.S. vs. Billie Holiday if for anybody, especially if you're not familiar with the Billie Holiday story and what the U.S. government, conspired against her, and just the story is amazing. And Andra Day, or that's her name, right? Andra Day. But she as well was amazing. She is nominated for Best Lead Actress. She carries the movie. She's in pretty much every scene. She as well, I think, does the singing, which you don't know if this is a Bo Rap style. Freddie Mercury's voice is fucking multi-tracked on there as well. But Andra Day is it. I think she's like, this was her first role, or one of her first roles in acting. She's not an experienced actress. She's like an R&B singer that they got to do this role. But I think that's the story. Like, I don't think that she's more of a singer than an actress, I believe. And she does a lot of amazing singing in this. I don't know how much of that is, a sound editing award potentially, but between the singing, between the actual music of the movie and her performance and the story and its like social relevancy, a great watch and a great performance. She's has a tough battle with Frances McDormand for Best Actress in No Man Land. However,
for sure,
great performance from Andra Day.
Interesting.
Great movie.
Yeah, I'll definitely
highly recommend it. And again, it's a bummer. Though. It's a bummer. It's not like it's not an uplifting tale. You know what I mean? It's like it's not like Chicago 7 did a much better job of keeping that subject matter light. But
I guess moving on to the other Oscar-nominated films and not keeping it light would be Promising Young Woman. Although I will say that Promising Young Woman, for kind of a movie about like revenge, it is like very brightly colored. And, you know what I mean? Like,
it's practically it's a black comedy / rom-com,
sure.
anything.
It's
but comedy
like
would definitely be in the genre list, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
How did you feel? If you had to give it a Netflix and chat style big LW audio scale, I'm giving it a hated it. Hated it.
I'm going between a hated it and an oh hell yeah, because I can't say I hated it. I liked it. You know what I mean?
Okay, I see.
But it was was on the verge of it. I did like it though. I enjoyed the film. I enjoyed. Like,
I mean, really intense. A tough watch, honestly. If you're not familiar with the subject matter, it deals a lot with a really important, relevant subject. But like date rape and sexual harassment. The plot line is a girl that goes out and pretends to be so drunk that guys try to take her home to date rape her, in essence, and then she has like the surprise, scared straight, like, hey, I'm not drunk. But I felt that she didn't really do, and I guess a Bradley Cooper alert. I'm going to spoiler alert a little bit of this movie for you out there, so fast forward if you don't want to hear. But I felt the movie would have been a lot better off if she was like fucking stealing from them or even injuring them in some type of like vigilante fucking superhero anti-hero. She's killing these guys that are about to date rape her, but she like gives her like a boo, like I'm sober, like you better not do that again, and then goes home, and then later she starts to like wrap it up with revenge with the people that were really involved in her friend's suicide whole situation. But I just didn't really get the the plot line from that aspect. I didn't like. It's a real tough, intense watch just with the subject matter, and again, super relevant. And again, I don't know if you saw, but just a couple weeks ago in Minnesota, the Supreme Court overturned a rape case for a girl that was like fucking got drunk and somebody had sex with her again, without any fucking consent, and the courts overturned a rape charge on the fact that she willingly got intoxicated, and it's now like Supreme Court precedent in the state of Minnesota that you cannot be charged with rape of a girl that does not give consent if she willingly drank alcohol. Now that obviously needs to get overturned, but obviously it's a fucking crazy situation that's really, really relevant and prevalent, unfortunately, in our culture. I'm sure me and you have a lot of girlfriends that have told the stories of horrible things that are related to this whole subject, and it's a really terrible thing that like a part of every young girl's life that fucking have to deal with this aspect of it, you know what I mean? So it's a good story to fucking tell and all that stuff, and like a real important subject matter to cover. However, I just didn't really, as a movie, I felt they did a bad job telling it and covering it, you know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I liked it, again, like I said, just because I did like the story. I do like a good revenge tale, even though you're right. I thought, too, going into it, like you said, I thought more so that she was doing some of these guys, taking a finger. I even had a theory watching it that she had some guy waiting outside every time that would come in and like rough them up. Yeah,
that comes in later, that guy. Like she should have been blackmailing them, like robbing them or blackmailing them to do other shit for her, to like do good in the world. And then I guess a big spoiler alert, because I don't give a shit about this one. Can we talk about the end and what happens? If you liked, maybe not even what happens, but do you like the end? Because I really felt at the, actually, fuck it, we'll just say she doesn't make it out alive, and I think the movie would have been a lot better if she did, because she lost all empowerment of it. There was nothing empowering about her tale, and maybe that was the point of the movie. I think you're right. I think that kind of is the point of the movie. I think the movie would have had a stronger ending if it didn't do like the epilogue of like them all getting arrested at the wedding with her master plan. I think if she just would have like died and failed, you know what I mean? It just kind of would show like, like these fucking dudes are getting away with it no matter what. I just think it would have had a more powerful of a that would have been more powerful, definitely, because it's like you're right, they kind of try to have the happy epilogue of like, look, they all go to jail at the end, but it's like, but she fucking got raped to death. You know what I mean? And her friend committed suicide, and her life has been shit ever since. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is not like an empowering revenge tale. It could have been, it should have been, but I just feel like they didn't execute it. And as well, I just felt like I really thought that the comedic scenes with her and the other coffee house girl were just like, these are just like not funny people trying to be comedic and charming, like in the boat burn. I'm just like, they're failing. I don't watch rom-coms, but they have to be. Like Spade and Lapkus pulled it off way better than this fucking.
Speaking of snubs.
Yeah, I mean, well, spoiler alert for my for my picks later, but.
I agree with you, and again too, we've talked about this, I think, off mic before, but I feel like this movie also seemed like a movie that never in a million years thought it was going to get nominated for Best Picture. You know what I mean? Especially just like with the casting. casting, like Bo Burnham, fucking Molly Shannon,
No,
the guy from New
call.
Girl. It's just like I don't think they ever thought this was going to be like a Best Picture nom.
And the lead actress was great, and she as well is nominated for Best Lead Actress. She really did a great job.
She is.
And she as well
Carey Mulligan's great.
Carey Mulligan, I'm not familiar with what else she's in, but she was great, and she as well is up in a real powerhouse class of supporting actress nominees because Glenn Close.
Dude, that best actress. Well, she's in the Best Actress category. Glenn Close is in Best Supporting.
Oh, supporting actress.
That
okay.
Best Actress category might be like the hardest hitting because you're right. It's got Andrea Day from The Billie Holiday, Viola Davis from Black Bottom, Frances McDormand from Nomadland, Carey Mulligan from Promising Young Woman, and then I can also say Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman. Hey, movie I've never heard of.
Yeah. No, for sure. No, but you're right. Andra Day and Frances McDormand were both amazing, so she's got no chance of winning that. But good for her for being nominated, and definitely deserves a nomination. And that's a real, real stamp of approval on the movie in general and her performance. But she's got zero chance of winning. But definitely.
Jesus. By the way, I just looked it up too. Pieces of a Woman, starring Shia LaBeouf. Where's his snub?
Is he a cancel? Is he on our cancel list? Am I? I don't keep up with all of the Me Too, but isn't he like? John Franco and John Franco can be or James Franco?
Franco, he gets canceled.
Yeah, he can get put on the cancel scroll.
It's about time. I feel like Shia LaBeouf's always dipping his toe in the water of about to be canceled. And it's like, we all know it's around the corner, but. But I guess moving on then from Promising Young Woman, and I guess since we're talking about it's like what a powerhouse the Best Lead Actress nominations are, I guess logically we should move on to Nomadland.
Yes. Nomadland. Definitely Frances McDormand, like literally the entire fucking movie. Like definitely in every scene. Is there a scene she's not in? And it's a super like minimalistic movie. It's pretty much like a single camera following Frances McDormand around for 2 hours. And it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, if you ever want to see a movie, if you're ever wondering, I wonder what Frances McDormand looks like peeing and pooping, then I'd say check out Nomadland.
Yeah. If you're like me and you spy on her outside her Hollywood Hills apartment, you already know. But yeah, no, definitely Frances. And I'd like to say interesting for the nominations, but 2 years ago, Frances McDormand won for 3 Billboards Outside of Missouri, and the same year Gary Oldman won for I guess Churchill or whatever, but they were the winning actor and actress. This year, she's probably going to win again, and I'm pulling for Mank to meet both. But so interesting. But so her and Gary Oldman again up there, but this time she, like I was just saying, Andra Day was great with People vs. Billie Holiday, U.S. vs. Billie Holiday, but Frances McDormand was really just amazing in this movie. She carried it. I feel this movie as well just really speaks to like it's definitely not an uplifting tale, but it speaks to how everybody is kind of feeling in coronavirus. Everybody is kind of feeling like a nomad for the year. We're all just a lot of us have lost our a lot of people have lost their jobs like her. A lot of people have lost. Everybody's lost their sense of community since you can't see your fucking friends. We're all lonely because you have to be 6 feet away from everybody. So it's just like we all like and at least for me personally, and I know a lot of people have just been like longing to just go on a fucking road trip and just be in the middle of a national park by yourself, and that's what this movie is the entire time, and it just really is like how I have felt during coronavirus, literally. And we talked about it in Geeked Up, how we've both like planned vacations and stuff that we know we're not going to go on, but I've like woke up every day wishing that I was fucking by myself in the middle of a national park somewhere, and so I really feel
Very
like
true, man.
it spoke to how all the movies are bummers and speak to something relevance, but I feel like this one is really speaking to people's coronavirus sentiments.
That too, but I also think that like just big props to Frances McDormand also, just because I feel like if anybody else, any actress in the world played this role, I probably wouldn't have given as much as a shit. Like I don't think anyone else could have really like kind of played that kind of character as well as Frances McDormand. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it really
no,
didn't
you're
feel like I was
right.
watching a movie. It really seemed like I was watching like 6 months in the life of like this lady. Like it was,
you're right. And
you
you told me something really interesting about this movie, but the other people in the movie weren't even actors and actresses for the most part, right? I guess like that guy Dave probably was an actor, but a lot of those just like random nomads.
Dave is an actor.
Yeah.
A lot
like
of people that work at Amazon. The one guy who I do a great impression of, by the way. I don't say goodbye. I say I'll see you down the road.
Oh, okay. I thought if this was any other movie, I would have thought for sure he was gonna like rape and try to kill Frances McDormand because he's obviously a creep, that fucker. You know what I mean? And this movie I knew was not gonna go down that kind of dark road, but he had all the recipes for somebody that's killed many of like he's fucking buried many of like lost souls in the desert, those fucking nomads, but.
But you're right, man. I really liked her in it, man. Like I really liked her in everything. You know what I mean? Like
couldn't agree more on both accounts.
Thinking about it too, just watching her in this, and again, like I said, it just seems like you're watching just like a day in the life of this woman. It didn't seem like it was a movie. But then I'm thinking back to like her in Fargo, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like the range on this actress, dude.
Yeah.
Like play a role in Fargo where she's just like, you know, this funny kind of cop, you know, like talking funny and just like it's a comedy.
Well, I'm not entirely sure about like your police work there, Lou.
Yeah, exactly. Or to play a role like Three Billboards. Like she just, the range on her is just insane.
Yeah,
like, is there nothing this lady
Is she
can't
married
do?
to a Coen brother as well? Do I have that
absolutely.
Right? Okay, she is.
I think both of them. It's a Joel and Ethan collaboration, dude.
Nice. But so yeah, definitely always a sentimental favorite for us. But I really feel, and Andra Day was amazing. We'll get into our picks later. But you know, I really feel that she's deserving of another Oscar. So it'll be potentially 2 and 3 years for her as well. Fucking amazing work, man.
And then I guess taking us home, we got 2 more left. Of course, next on the list was Sound of Metal. Now, I'm going to say this, dude. I don't know if it's because I just watched this one like right before we started doing the podcast, but oh man, dude, fucking huge fan of it's the freshest in my mind. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So it was
it was great. Fucking powerful. I
really
tuned
good.
in expecting the sound of a Sound of Music remake. And I was like, a heavy metal Sound of Music, but with Metallica doing the score. Sound of Music. I don't know any of the Sound of Music songs. They should have fucking. Yeah. But no. But honestly, man, fucking a great movie, great performance by Riz Ahmed, like you said, really carrying the show. You know, definitely a good movie for like having a message, but as well just carrying on like a good movie that kept you engaged as to what was going to happen. Like there were very few movies. I guess Minari is the only other one out of the movies that are on this list that you're watching, kind of wondering how it's going to end. You know what I mean? Like none of the other movies are meant to be like that. But this one, it's just like, does he fucking get the his hearing back? And start playing in the band again? You know, does he get back with the girlfriend? Like, how is this going to end? What's going to happen next? Like, so it was like a traditional movie in that standpoint, but as well, like a really touching, you know, fucking movie with a message.
It was just great concept of not only is it like this heavy metal drummer who's now going deaf, he's also now, since he's going deaf, faces going to relapse and using heroin again. So he goes to like a hearing impaired, like, you know, rehab almost, and it's just like, man, what a fucking wild ride this poor guy is going on right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one thing, a couple of like movie. This movie as well, I feel, is a movie that they very well might have made not expecting an Oscar, but Riz Ahmed fucking did such an amazing job that it like turned out to be that kind of quality, you know.
Yeah.
But a couple things, like it wasn't the tightest movie in terms of, did they ever like explain how? You just watched it, so you maybe remember because I watched it a while ago. But did they ever really explain how he got to France at the end and all? I felt like 1 minute he was homeless. Next minute he was like surprising his girlfriend in front. So there was a couple of things like that as well. I felt they should have like kind of talked about more how fucking like, you know, what a life tragedy it would be to just lose the sound of music in your life. And there was never, like, if you're a fucking heavy metal drummer, even before, outside of the heavy metal, he's dancing with his girlfriend into fucking James Brown, or, you know what I mean? He's obviously just like a music lover. And somebody that's got a fucking drum kit in your traveling van, like, you're obsessed with music, to then go deaf and never be able to hear again. Like, there should have been a monologue about how much, and especially for me as a music lover, you know what I mean? Like, there should have been a huge, you know, part of the movie dealing directly with what a loss to his, you know, fucking life music would be in general, you know what I mean? But a little nitpicky, and all in all, fucking great movie, amazing performance by
I gotta say, Riz Ahmed too. I gotta give him like props of just like he's the kind of actor who like by just like facial expressions he can like get you there. You're just like, oh dude, like you can see what this guy's like feeling and going through like the whole time, like, and he just projects it so well in this movie that just everything this poor son of a
Now,
bitch
has he
going
been
through.
really ever in anything else other? Because I never watched The Night Of, which you raved about here on the Geeked Up podcast, and tried to get me to watch.
Amazing.
But that one was amazing. Has he? And then you told me that he's actually like a rapper. So is he like
he's a rapper?
Is he in a lot of other stuff though, or like what else? You know, are these pretty much his only roles like that?
I'm having the Charlie Sheens right now. He wasn't Star Wars or Rogue One. He was, you know, like one of the good guys on the ship. But other than that, it wasn't like a lead role though.
Yeah, Riz Ahmed was.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but like he's not like those were pretty much his two big roles. Like because he was amazing in that apparently, and he was amazing in this. So like, you know, I'm just wondering
I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. Okay, like having the Charlie Sheen moment. Like once we get done, I'm gonna be like,
but like you know,
Wall Street.
yeah. Because The Night Of was only what 2 years ago? Let's say 3 years ago.
Yeah,
like 3 years ago. Before that, was he an actor or a rapper? You know what I mean? Has he been
rapper,
like a life?
I want to say.
Okay,
I think he was more like comes from like the music genre and then got into acting.
He's an Andre Day kind of story.
Correct. And then I guess really bringing it home, then what I will wrap it up with is one of the two movies who I hadn't even heard of before the list, but Minari. You know, bringing it home, which is.
See, I'm a big Korean, as we covered in Corona, I'm a big Korean baseball fan, and as well, I'm on top of the Korean movies, so...
Let's go Sun Lao Eagles, baby!
Yeah. Of course, Devin's an Eagles fan, but...
One of those movies, too, that I told you before I watched it, my cold take, as you called it, is I was like, I got a feeling this one's going to be... Just by watching the trailer, I was like, I got a feeling this one's going to be really good.
As you told me that it existed, I was like, watched all the Oscar movies. Like, how was Minari? I was like, what? That was who? Which one?
But it was great, man. It was just kind of exactly what I was hoping for. And you're right, dude. The big scene stealer in the movie is like great for Steven Yeun, Walking Dead alumni, to be nominated for Best Actor.
Oh, that guy's in Walking Dead? Is that Glenn from Walking Dead that I always hear about?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I totally forgot about that. You told me that. But yeah, you guys would always talk about Glenn for whatever reason. He always comes up on the show. But okay, that was the infamous Glenn. Interesting.
Correct.
Nice.
But you were right. I mean, the scene stealers in that movie is 6-year-old David and the grandma, dude.
Yeah. Definitely the kid. You called the grandma, too, basically. Like, you told me that the reason you thought it was going to be good, you're like, I don't know, dude, there's a cursing grandma in the commercial. I love that shit. That goes over huge with me. I was like, all right, dude, that's a good point. But you're right, though. The grandma was
she
great.
She did not disappoint.
No, absolutely not. But the 8-year-old kid, though, man, like, talk about a fucking, like, a character. I'll always remember that little sweetheart in my fucking, as just like a definitive child character in a movie. But it was great film psychology in this one as well, where they really were getting you, they had me totally convinced something horrible was going to happen to that kid.
100%.
And nothing ever did, and then happened to somebody else. And, so something horrible, like you knew something horrible was going to happen. So they had me on the edge of my seat. I was literally had so much fucking anxiety over something happening to that kid that I couldn't take it. And then when they ran into the fire, I literally got off of my goddamn moon chair. Like, that's how good this movie was, that I literally got out of my seat with my hands on my head like, oh, you fucking... Want to know what that reminded me of, dude? It reminded me of Roma. The end of Roma when the fucking girl ran into the ocean.
Drowning.
And I was like, holy shit, don't fucking kill this goddamn girl. And then, what this movie needed, though, was Teje Prometito at the end. Because when Teje Prometito played at the end of that movie, it like uplifted you. You know what I mean? It's like you took a deep sigh of relief. And we're like, it fucking brought life back in you, and we're like, holy shit, everything's gonna be okay. This movie was like missing that moment of fucking,
and you're right. It's a lot of like sliding doors in that one, dude, because I was expecting and I guess a little bit of a Bradley Cooper spoiler alert here, but I was expecting of one of three things to happen. Like, I was expecting the little boy to die at some point because they kept talking about his heart murmur.
Yeah.
I expected grandma to maybe die at some point because, that's how these movies go. And I at least expected, dude, some fucking racist bullshit was going to go down.
Something racist.
It never happened, dude.
For sure. Yeah.
Never.
They even encountered like a fucking tobacco spitting redneck, and nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
And he's like, now you tell your dad
this...
to be a good boy now, all right? Like,
yeah.
Thanks for bringing some diversity to the community, little fella. Like, wait a minute. Like, this is... But you're right, dude. The one guy was carrying a cross down the road. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Yeah. About time something fucking horrible happens. About time white people do something terrible.
And by the way, supporting actor snub is the guy, the Christian like field hand for the guy.
Yeah, fucking.
Because he was great in that movie,
dude. I was really feeling those snub on that guy. I really feel Stephen Root would have crushed it. Did you not see Stephen Root all over that guy? I was picturing like those glasses reminded me of the fucking Office Space guy or whatever. But I was like, oh man, they really missed the boat on not giving Stephen Root this fucking religious huge
missed opportunity.
Yeah, huge miss by them. But all in all, dude, I would say that just talking about the last three movies, like I said, Nomadland kind of like spoke to me, related with me the most, just fucking wanting to be on the never-ending road trip during coronavirus. I felt Sound of Metal was maybe like the best, but I feel Minari was probably my favorite in general. You know what I mean? And again, we did do like some spoiler alerts in there, so sorry about that, but it was just a great fucking movie, having me, you know, like just on edge, but as well, like you did, they were conveying a message. You know what I mean? And there was a story. There was fucking, you know, fucking gentrification and all. Like, there was a lot of, you know, real world stuff that were going on. However, it was just a fucking, you know, not a thrill a minute, but it had that feeling. You know what I mean? By the end, it very well could have been a fucking suspense.
But even
thriller.
The parts where it wasn't like suspenseful, dude, it was still just interesting to see like the family dynamics. And again, I can't talk about David and the grandma enough.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, dude, the comedy duo of these two. Fucking,
like, watching wrestling and fucking.
Absolutely. I would watch a spin-off series of that.
I know, seriously. I haven't wanted a spin-off series so bad than Wahlberg and Sheen and The Departed. Actually, no. Sorry.
Dude, I hate to say it because I would totally take the David and Grandma spinoff. Then it was announced, I think, like today, as we're recording this, that there's already a sequel coming out to The Father. Literally, and this isn't a joke, it's called The Son, and it's with Hugh Jackman and Laura Dern. So,
is that a joke?
No.
I was literally going to say that earlier. I was going to make the Sun joke. But so they've not only is this an only IMAX 3D in theaters, but there's also a franchise already announced for this movie. Do we have to see this? Like, this really fits both of our Netflix and chat questions. Would I go see it in the theater? I guess I have to. Is it a franchise? They've already fucking said yes.
Very true. Apparently they're plays though. So I think the guy's written 3 plays. It's part of a trilogy.
Okay.
He's the father, the son. I'm guessing the daughter, but who knows?
The Holy Spirit is the fucking trilogy. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But wow, very interesting. But
But I'll take David and the Grandma any day.
I guess another movie, and I guess we can get into, we'll get into this movie of our picks now, but another Oscar movie and one of the main sentimental storylines, but Ma Rainey is another one, and we'll talk about Boseman in a second, but that movie was as well a play adaptation, I guess, like The Father, but Ma Rainey really jumps out as being like a straight-up stage adaptation, like it's really meant to be a play. It's just a drama, acting-led drama, but really an amazing job by Chadwick Boseman, and I feel that he really will be one of the big storylines of the Oscar, obviously, after the whole tragic passing, but really delivering a fucking amazing performance. There's one monologue in particular that he gives, just talking about, what you have to deal with in life and knowing his situation. Like, it's just really, talk about an Oscar, like a lead actor winning whole situation, but definitely worth checking out just for Chadwick Boseman's performance alone, but as well if you like a play on a movie a la The Father. But that's definitely, and One Night in Miami as well is very much of a play on. Did you see One Night in Miami? I forget.
Not yet. No.
Okay.
Like I said, I was watching
that one
best
as well. Is both of those are like they're obviously plays that they're just putting into a movie.
Gotcha.
One Night in Miami kind of spruces it up a little bit and makes it more interesting, like visually to watch as a movie. Where Ma Rainey, I think there's probably 2 sets and just and fucking 25 huge long monologues by people. But
for sure,
for Chadwick Boseman's performance, and I feel like this Oscars will be remembered at the end of the day. There's always a big storyline, and I feel that Chadwick Boseman getting the Best Actor for that's what we're all rooting for anyway. Of course, I'll still be pulling for Mank, as we pointed out. But especially,
I guess if you're looking for movies too, that don't forget if your movies too that were like plays that are like adapted to movies. Let's not forget check out Cats.
Yeah, I guess the big Cats came out this year. But definitely,
if you liked Ma Rainey and One Night in Miami, definitely check out Cats.
You love cats.
You love cats.
Big F! WEFUNK. We funk.